What's up, class? Hope you're having a good February so far. Back at you with a new No Mod Shop class video, and this time I'm covering yet another new building glitch discovery. Amazing that we're still finding helpful building glitches over 10 years after the game was released. Now, too bad Season 2 of Fallout on Amazon Prime has come to an end, but I thought it was better than Season 1. Maybe it was because it had a New Vegas vibe and I really liked Fallout New Vegas. It was pretty cool to see some references to Fallout 4 as well. They're making their way east, no spoilers, but maybe they'll end up in Boston by the 5th season or something. And even better is that it brought a bunch of new players to the community, so I want to welcome all of you to the Skooled Zone. I also want to thank you guys for all the supportive comments you left on my recent channel news video. If you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. And also thanks to everyone who subscribed to my second channel. I really appreciate that. A third of the way there until I can monetize the channel and hopefully leave the day job behind someday so I can focus primarily on build videos. So links for both in the description in the iCard above. Now we're gonna head over to my Starlight Drive-In settlement. It's got a lot of open space there still where I like to do these kind of experiments. But before we zap on over there, it's time to take a quick peek at this month's Wall of Fame. As you've seen in past videos, I feature the names of my amazing Patreon supporters on this here Wall of Fame, and here is the Student Council this month. Thank you so much to everyone who supports the channel. You know I couldn't do this without you. Now I know there are many great Fallout channels out there, but you guys are keeping at least one of them afloat by joining my Patreon page or becoming a member with the join button below. As I've mentioned in the past, I don't do mid-video ad reads or corporate sponsor segments. I only rely on the regular YouTube revenue and the members of the Student Council. So if you're interested, check out my Patreon page. There's some great perks, as well as knowing that you're keeping the Fallout 4 flame alive. All right, class, hop on the school bus and I'll meet you guys over there. Okay, so here we are at my Starlight Drive-In settlement testing grounds, and today we're going to be looking at two new amazing building glitch tools that you can use for no mod settlement building. One is called the shrug glitch, and the other is called the schiller glitch. I didn't discover these myself, so I didn't get to name them, but I'll tell you who did as we get to each one. They've actually been around for a few months, but I didn't want to just rush out and make a video about them until I fully understood the actual mechanics behind them. So if you've already seen videos about them, this video will still be helpful for you in understanding the underlying physics. And isn't it just amazing that we can still be discovering helpful building glitches more than 10 years after the game was released? I honestly thought the ghost glitch was going to be the last glitch that we discovered as a building community, but I guess wonders never cease. Oh, and sorry if there might be a lot of talking in the first part of this video, but there's a lot to explain. And the more you understand about why these glitches work, the more you can make the most use out of them and expand your building horizons. So the first baseline mechanic is called the drop glitch. I'm not sure who originally discovered this trick. I think it was Lemmy, but apologies if it was someone else. Now, we've known since the early building days that if an object is sitting on another object and the first object is stored or scrapped, then the second object will drop down until it reaches a catch point in the wire mesh. I actually made a video many years ago about this unhelpful glitch and some ways to prevent it, but Lemmy found it can actually be turned into a helpful glitch if you know what to do with it. And I'll show you that real quick because it's necessary to do the two new building glitches we'll cover in this video. Now, we all know about the rug glitch by now, but here's a quick tip if you didn't already know this. The hay bales from the Nuka World Dry Rock Gulch section can actually act like tall rugs. You can use them interchangeably with the rug glitch if you just need some quick height and don't feel like stacking a whole bunch of rugs on top of each other, or don't feel like pillar glitching something just a tiny bit in the air first. In fact, the best part is that you can actually stack one on another or even stack rug chains on them. And just like with the rug glitch, when you delete the supporting hay bale, the item will drop down until another hits the ground. So this is a container and this is the hay bale. All right, let me go into workshop. All right, so just for reference, all right, you can't stack a rug onto these containers. But look what happens. You can actually put a rug on, or a mat, as they say, onto the hay bales. So I just wanted to show you that real quick because they look the same, but they don't act the same. Actually, I should have kept that around to put it on top of the hay bale. But first, let me show you the hay bales, decorations, Nope. Here we go. Decorations, Nuka World, Dry Rock Gulch. Isn't that awesome? They're a little bit finicky, but there you go. And then let me just get something else here. This will probably work. No, it won't. Let me see here. Okay, so the TV's on the hay bales. We can move the bottom hay bale just by single clicking. Here, let's put this. Well, we'll face it inside for the guy sitting at the counter who can watch some TV. That's not going to be far enough. Hold on. Okay, now when I delete this one, I'll just delete this one right here. And then delete this one. Yep, there you go. Drops right down onto the counter. All right, so that's the general idea behind the drop glitch. All right, and then let me just show you this real quick. I like using these kind of rugs. But before I do that, actually, I'm going to create a rug chain, which is just basically putting several rugs on top of each other like that to get some reach. And then we're going to grab this first rug, put it on top of the hay bale. Because the first rug doesn't let you stick it out very far from the hay bale because the catch point is somewhere, you know, in the middle to 3/4 of the way to the front. But now we've got a chain, and now I can move this whole chain with a single click. And if I had something on it to glitch in there, I could just glitch it right into the wall. Okay? And that leads us into the first new glitch of the video, the shrug glitch. Now this was discovered and named by Fallout builder and fan of the channel who goes by maybe5059. I'll include a link to his video in the description below. What he showed is that shelves can support rugs if they're dropped onto the shelf using the drop glitch. I don't know if other people knew this already, but I sure didn't. And the best part of the shelves is that they clamp to walls, so you can raise them vertically with a single click. They don't need to be group selected. They operate just like the rug glitch or the hay bales. So as long as you have a wall you can run them up, they're almost like adding an elevator to the rug glitch. That is pretty amazing. And it's exactly the trick I needed to finish my epic plans for home plate. All right, so let me show you that real quick. Okay, so there's a wall, just any wall will do. And then I believe shelves are in furniture. Yep. Okay, and any of these shelves will do. So I will just, I'll put it right here. All right, and then I'm going to, doesn't really matter, you can just move either one, but I'm gonna get the hay bale to right there. Move this wall into place. All right, and then if I delete this rug, then these two should drop onto the shelf. Let's give it a try. Okay, good enough. In fact, once this rug is in place, let me just see if it moves with the wall. Oh, it doesn't move with the wall. Okay, that was unfortunate. I probably didn't have it close enough. So let's try that again. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So you see there, the rug is now attached to the shelf, and I only need to single click on the wall to move the whole thing, and I keep canceling. I only need to single click. Let's move this back onto the curb. And I only need to single click in order to move the rug glitch up and down. All right, so let's say I want to add something to that. Let's say, let's see here, decorations, Nuka World. Trying to find the cash register. There we go. Okay, you have this cash register from the Nuka World miscellaneous section, and you can't even put it. Oh, interesting. It does fit on the natural native shelves, so to speak, but I don't believe it sits on a regular counter. So let me grab a counter. Let's see here. Yes, one of these. Okay. And then I'm also going to get out a crafting store, like a trader. Okay, so let's see if the cash register will sit on top of this. Oh, it will. Well, that's weird. Oh, okay, that's what it is. All right, so it does sit on these, but it doesn't sit on these. Okay, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another rug just to give us a little more distance here. And then I'm going to grab this cash register. And then now I can move this wall back a little bit. Grab this trading stand. And then now I can grab this shelf, raise it up. Might be a little too close here. Tell you what, let me move this forward, raise this up. There we go. I was like, why isn't it working? It's because you probably have to face to the front or have it naturally facing the wrong direction. Okay, so I'm going to set it there, move this trading stand into place. There's tons of ways you can do this. I'm just fumbling about a bit here, but you're going to get the idea. Okay, so now I can lower this shelf with the rug glitch on it, and I can set it right where I want it. Let's see here. Yeah, that's probably... Oh, you know what? Let's turn this around because it would be facing the vendor. Okay, there we go. That's good enough. Now, when I remove this rug, it should drop right onto the catch point of the trader stand. All right, fingers crossed. Did it drop all the way through? You know what? It's best if you have two rugs. I think I'm running into this thing right here. That was the problem. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this second rug, give it a chance to drop just a certain distance to a catch point. Okay, now hopefully When I delete this, it will drop into place. If not, there is another solution, but let's give this a try. No, it still drops to the ground. That's a bummer. Okay, so what that means is you're going to need to support it with a rug embedded into the trading stand, okay? But anyway, you guys get the idea. I won't go through that whole thing because we have another glitch to cover. Now, that shrug glitch leads us into the next new glitch called the schiller glitch. This one was originally discovered by JenSixStones and then expanded further by Oldie Noodle. I'll include links to both of their videos in the description below. So JenSixStones found that you can clamp shelves to pillars. And when you do, you can pillar glitch with that combo just like you can when you combine the pillar with like a pipe conduit that we usually do to create some distance and avoid collision. In fact, it has even better anti-collision properties than the pipe conduit pillar combo because you don't need to keep group selecting the pillar and the shelf if you just want to move it around and make adjustments. You only need to single select the pillar and the shelf goes with it. Now you'll still need to group select the final rig into place, however, but it's a lot more convenient beforehand. Now, Oldie Noodle expanded on that premise by combining the drop glitch and the shrug glitch with this shelf pillar combo and called it the schiller glitch. And when you combine these mechanics, it now allows you to make the rug glitch syncable in a far easier way than the rug pillar combo. I actually made a video way back called the rug pillar combo, but this one is just, it blows it out of the water. It almost becomes like a place anywhere mechanic, which you can readjust and check your work as many times as you need to before committing. In fact, it's probably the closest thing yet to being able to place anywhere other than the ghost glitch, which I covered in a previous video. And the ghost glitch is limited to just a handful of the larger settlements. This one isn't. So let's take a look at how it works. Now, the concrete pillars have a slightly larger surface area, so it makes placing the shelf on them a bit easier. But you can use any kind of shelf and any kind of sinkable post or pillar. I tested it with stairs, but they didn't snap to stairs, unfortunately. Okay, it's a little bit finicky. You have to find the right sticking point, but once you do, now check this out. As you can see, I can move the pillar around by single selecting it and the shelf goes with it. This allows me to use it as a much quicker and more convenient pillar conduit combo, as long as they don't really need like a long reach for placement. In that case, the pillar conduit combo is probably still worth keeping in your toolbox. And when you do want to select the object, you'll still need to group select. But now, as you can see, I can pull this away and the wooden crate is right where I want it. It's actually hovering a little bit. Yeah, that would have stuck to the counter anyway, but those are native counters. All right, so anyway, that is how that works. Now, what I'll do is I'll set this here. I'll get out a couple of rugs. I think I can probably, let's just make, it's always better to make the rug chains off of the hay bales. Oh, you're not wasting too much time. See how it's a bit finicky there? So I will get the schiller into place right there. I'll move it back just a bit. Okay. Now, hopefully when I delete this rug right here, it's going to drop the rugs onto the shelf. Almost. Let's see if I can move them now. Nope, not yet. Just gonna sink it down a little bit more and come on now. There we go. It looks like it's actually under it, but that works as long as you can single select the pillar at that point, which moves the shelf, which carries the dropped rug. Then we are good to go. So let's see if I can add another rug on top of that just to give us a little more distance. I can. Perfect. Okay. So now you see I can continue making a rug chain on top of this. How perfect is that? That is pretty awesome. Now, what you can do with it, I actually have one that's ready to go over here. And this is another point I wanted to make. Some objects you don't even need the rug for. You can just drop right onto the schiller. And at that point, you can just place it anywhere. You know, it should stick if it catches onto the wall or an object that you're dropping it onto. So let's see here. I thought this would be kind of a cool idea. Those projectors, if they're put into a wall, can kind of look like security cameras. So if this was like a hallway and you wanted like just a little lens sticking out, you might need to put a little bit more of it there, but let's see here. Okay, well, let's assume this, it was a little bit higher. It's not sticking out. That is pretty cool, but let's suppose I wanted it more centered. That's the great thing. You can keep readjusting it. Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Let me see what that looks like. That is pretty cool. That's like a little security camera lens sticking out of the wall. That's awesome. Now, if you didn't want this to be in place, then let's see what happens when we delete this shelf. It's probably going to drop down a little bit. So let's be prepared for that. But hopefully it doesn't drop all the way to the ground. It did drop all the way to the ground. All right, so it looks like it's going to need a catch point back there. If I was to do this again, what I would probably do is add like a little sign or a actual electrical conduit or something for the back of the projector to drop onto, to catch it, so to speak. Because the wire mesh of this concrete wall is probably pretty loose and there wasn't anything to catch the projector on the way down from its drop. So that's why it ended up there, but that is still pretty cool. I think the best part about this is that I was able to just keep making readjustments until I got it right where I wanted it. See, it is centered. It's just not the height that I originally wanted. So you just keep in mind that you'll probably need to add a catch point back there for it to, still looks pretty cool down there. I don't know why. Could be like a laser tripwire. Okay, so here's a better example, actually. Let's suppose that you have an overseer's desk in your overseer's office, and you want to place a secret safe right behind the desk, all right? Now, as you can see, it doesn't fit on the counters of the overseer's desk, and it just fits underneath. But we're actually on a bit of a incline here. If this was completely flat, you'd see that it wouldn't even fit underneath, okay? Now over here, I've already got the setup ready to go and I've got it in the perfect position. Let's suppose you want this safe to be perfectly flush with the flooring of the overseer's desk. Not sticking out, not sticking down, up, whatever, and yet it's still accessible. As you can see, it's pretty much perfect looking, okay? And this is a great example of using the schiller glitch, because what I needed to do, I needed to lift it up so it would be off the ground, but on the schiller glitch, it sat a little bit high. And then using the pillar, I was able to lower it down to the perfect height. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to delete the shelf instead of the rug. And if it works as it did in the test, that'll make the rug pop up. And then when we delete the rug, it'll pop right back down into position, okay? So fingers crossed. Wait a second. Where did the safe go? Oh, good gracious. Okay. So I was like, man, it's not going to mess me up again, is it? All right. So what happened was I deleted the shelf, the rug popped up, the safe dropped into the floor, actually, where it was no longer visible. But when I moved the overseer's desk, you couldn't see it because it was actually below the floor line. But then when I deleted the rug, it popped right back into position. I was like, man, how did it work in the test and not work just now? All right. So as you can see, the safe moves with the overseer's desk and it's perfectly flush with the floor. All right. I probably could have moved it to the right just a smidgen, but you guys get the idea. All right, that's a much better example of where things go correctly, okay? So what I would suggest is when you are ready to delete the accessories, such as either the rug, the shelf, or the entire pillar, do a quick save and then just test out which object that you delete places the desired object into the perfect place, all right? So start off with just deleting the rug. If that makes it drop all the way to the ground, reload the quick save, then try deleting just the shelf, then the rug, and if that still doesn't work, try deleting the entire schiller glitch because the shelf will be clamped to the pillar, and when that disappears, then the only thing remaining will be the object. Hopefully it doesn't disappear with it. All right. All right, now just a few more tricks I discovered while testing these glitches. Although you can't snap shelves to stairs, you can use the drop glitch to attach rugs to stairs. The scaffolding section actually has some really tall, thin stairs that are best for this. But I went ahead and pre-created one over here just using some regular wooden stairs. Let's go into workshop, pull that out. So using that same drop glitch mechanic that I showed earlier, you can just drop a rug right onto the top of the stairs, and now you can just move the stairs and the rug will go with it. All right, so I'm gonna add, actually I probably don't even need to add a rug, an extra rug for this. I'm just gonna place this dispenser right on the edge of the rug. All right, now I can just move the shack stairs and the dispenser goes with it, all right? So I'm gonna get this lined up, and what I was thinking is this might be a pretty cool way to simulate a shower situation with like the two nozzles, you know, one for hot and one for cold. And what's great about this is that if I don't get it exactly right, like you can kind of see it's not lined up exactly, then I can just continue to readjust it. Love to get just the panel showing, which might be a little hard to do. Nope, I did it there. That is pretty awesome. Now, to avoid dropping the dispenser back down to the ground, like it did with the projector, I'm gonna add something to try to give it a catch point. And I think these conduits might work pretty well. All right, so I'm just gonna create one there, and I'm going to add a little middle section right there. Let's see, I probably don't need that much room. Just gonna use one of these smaller ones here. And then another one of these okay, now I will need to group select these into place. So let me group select these. And then I'm going to move these down or into place. They don't even need to stay here. You just need to provide a catch point for it. And what I'm going to do is, that's fine. That's fine. It may even pop up a little bit. And then just as a backup, I'm going to add a sign or something back here. Hopefully with all these little checkpoints, there's enough to keep it from dropping all the way to the ground. Okay, and like I said, you can remove these later, just once you get into place. But let's see if my theory is correct here. It still drops to the ground, man. Then, well, maybe a shelf might do it, actually. That's interesting. Well, if this doesn't work, then a shelf might actually work. So let me just try pulling out this rug and see if it catches. Nope, it dropped all the way to the ground. Okay, so you're probably going to need like a shelf or maybe even a catch point on both the front and the back. But anyway, that was just an idea I had for a shower. We can always pillar glitch it into place instead of using the rug glitch. But I wanted to let you know that you can actually add rugs directly to stairs, which is pretty dang cool, actually. You know, that gives us another option to the schiller glitch. In fact, it skips the need for the shelf entirely, which might actually make it a step up in convenience since you have to use the drop glitch for both anyway. And since I think I'm the first to discover this trick, I might as well name it the shrug glitch. Or maybe I'll just shorten it to struggler. Hey guys, let's get out a little struggler for this next addition to the building. And as you can see from my testing over there, it was a bit of a struggle. But what it does essentially is that it gives you a way to lift and lower the rug glitch, which we use all the time. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Now, I will be going over some various supplemental breakthroughs that have been found as related to these mechanics in a sequel video. In the meantime, be sure you subscribe to my cat channel if you like cats, like wholesome entertainment, or just want to help your boy leave his day job and do YouTube full time. I need about 600 more subscribers before I can monetize that channel, so head on over there using the links in the description of the iCard above. And thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Happy building and class dismissed.